Hey guys, Dr. Aaron Stairs here, and welcome back to the Fitting In podcast. We're here today at the Performance Republic Sports Medicine in San Antonio, Texas, and we'll be going over today is a running analysis. So we actually have a video, so you can check out our YouTube to actually watch the video. But basically, we're going to break down what we look for when someone comes in as a runner when it comes to their running form. Because a lot of the time when we see this, the repetitive actions of running are the main cause of pain a lot of the time. So as soon as we make one or two small changes, then that pain tends to go away, the body heals a little bit better, and performance improves. So what I'm going to do is share my screen here, and what we're going to do is basically break down a video for you. So let's get this here. All right, so we have a little video here, and this is, a random video that I found, in my templates. So basically, here we go. So as you can see here, someone's running here. All right, we're going to take a side view and just kind of check out how things are looking. So as I slowed this down, the very first thing we're going to look at, we're going to go from bottom up. Okay, so we're going to just check out from the bottom up and see what we find. Okay, so if I slow this down a little bit, we just check out how he's taking those steps, right? So the first thing we look up straight away is a strike, right? Are you a heel striker, forefoot striker, or midfoot striker, right? So, it's hard to tell on this one here, but as he steps down right there, it's a heel strike. And same on the other side. All right, it's kind of hard to tell, but right there's another heel strike. So problem is with heel striking, it's not bad to be a heel striker. Let's just kind of get that out of the equation. But what it does is give us some insight as to how your body operates. A lot of the time, if you have a heel strike, it's because you don't have very good pelvic positioning, and you're actually relying heavily on your posterior chain of muscles to create stability rather than having it in your core and pelvis. So it gives us a little insight on that and things that we need to work on for you. Now, if you are a heel striker, obviously you're doing a lot of pulling through your run. You're not springing forward. You're pulling yourself forward with your Achilles and your hamstring and your hip extensors and your back and your glutes. Most of the time, people aren't using their glutes either. So a lot of times, a lot of strain on the hamstring going in through that motion, and that's why we see a lot of hamstring strains in runners. So it's vitally important to kind of see this here. Now, the other thing that we will look for in this, and we actually get the back view for this one, which is kind of more of an angle to see the amount of pronation and supination that you get in your ankle at the same time. Because if you're over pronating or you're over supinating when you're running to compensate, that's going to give us a little idea of, hey, something's going on at your ankle or a little higher up the chain. So as we go back to the video here, the next thing as we move up the chain here, we look to see knee and hip flexion angles. So how high are you picking up your knees when you run? How much work are your hips doing? So if we kind of cycle through this here again for the next step, you see that those knees aren't really going very high, right? Or the angle on there, I think if we really broke it down, you're probably looking at about 30 degrees of hip flexion right there, when we're probably looking more so for the 40 to 45 degree mark. Obviously with 90 degrees being right here at hip flexion all the way to the hip, 0 being straight down towards the ground, we're looking for about 45 degrees or so, okay? If that's not happening, then we know that hip flexor strength is usually an issue. We need to work on that positioning. Now, next thing we look at is knee flexion. So we look to see, are you dragging your feet on the way back or not? Are you picking up your feet on the backside, which he is doing pretty well. I'm not too concerned about that. As we come up the chain here, the next thing we look at is arm swing. How much arm swing and propulsion are we getting with the run? Are we just lazy here, or are we actually moving those arms as we go? So with this video, as we look into it, he is getting a little bit of motion in the arms, but the quality isn't great. There's not a whole lot of propulsion going forward there in the arms, and a lot of the motion is across the body. It's not this forward and back motion that's going to help propel us forward into speed. It's energy leaks going forwards and backwards across the body in a twisting motion. That's going to be considered an energy leak, where your body is not efficiently using the energy that's stored up from that arm swing into a forward motion. You're cutting across your body, which is working against the goal of running forward and running faster and getting that pace up. Last thing to look for on the side view here is a head bob, right? So I want you to kind of see like where his head's at right there and keep a mental picture of that and just kind of see as he runs how much the head is moving up and down as you run, right? The reason we look at that is, again, energy leaks. As we're running, we want that to be as straightforward as a run. We want all your momentum and energy going forward. Every time you step, if you're going up and down, that is energy that you can further push forward and make yourself a little quicker, okay? One of the cues that we do to get rid of that is we actually cue our runners to slightly lean forward a little bit while they're running. That tends to clear up a lot of that head bobbing of the energy leaks. It also forces your body to not use so much of your hamstring or any of that pulling motion that we see in a heel strike. Okay, so even just that simple little motion of leaning forward is enough to correct a lot of these things. So that's it, man. I mean, people want to know what the secret is to running performance and running mechanics, but it's very, very simple. You just take a joint by joint approach, looking at the ankle, knee, hip, and then upper body, arms, and the overall motions. Are you twisting? Are you going up and down? Where are your energy leaks? Once you've identified those things, it's very, very easy to know what to do. We do these all the time in clinic with our runners. It's the first thing we look at because it's what causes most pain in runners is the running itself. Once we make those small little tweaks in technique, that pain goes away, performance improves. So if this is something that you want to do for yourself, right, and get looked at and kind of learn the process for yourself to have that skill of assessing your own motion, we're more than happy to do that for you. And you can schedule that online by going to theperformancerepublic.com. That's www.theperformancerepublic.com. You can schedule hit the book appointment link in there and schedule your appointment with us. And we're more than happy to spend an hour with you breaking down your running and showing you exactly what you need to do in your own mobility and strength practice to correct your form and improve performance. Thanks for listening to this episode of the Fitting In Podcast. I'm Dr. Aaron Stairs, and we'll catch you next week.